If you've been trying to find a free government tablet using EBT or Medicaid, you have likely spent hours clicking through endless websites. Instead of clear instructions, you find confusing requirements, broken links, and frustrating dead ends. There is a specific reason for this. The Affordable Connectivity Program, the ACP, is completely dead. The era of a guaranteed nationwide free tablet program ended when the ACP ran out of funding. Today, the landscape is heavily fragmented. Connectivity help exists, but it is split up into dozens of smaller, highly localized programs. Because this shift left so many people confused, predatory websites stepped in to take advantage. They use outdated ACP promises to draw you in, advertising instant approvals and guaranteed shipping. Finding real assistance today requires targeted effort. You cannot simply fill out a single, generic online form and expect a device to show up at your door. Continuing to search for a nationwide tablet giveaway is a waste of your time. Worse, handing your details over to those generic forms is a direct pathway to identity theft. To navigate this safely, you have to bypass generic Google searches entirely. The goal is to match your exact demographic and situation to specific targeted programs. This chart shows the reality of the 2026 landscape. Depending on your situation, there are 4 distinct pathways you can take. The path you take depends entirely on your eligibility inputs. We are going to look at specific routes for veterans, residents of HUD-assisted housing, and those using general benefits like EBT or Medicaid. Notice that the outputs on the right vary widely. Some paths lead to specialized healthcare devices, while others only lead to basic monthly discounts on your internet service. Getting connected in 2026 comes down to understanding that there is no one-size-fits-all application. Success depends entirely on knowing exactly which door to knock on. If you've been trying to find a free government tablet using EBT or Medicaid, you have likely spent hours clicking through endless websites. Instead of clear instructions, you find confusing requirements, broken links, and frustrating dead ends. There is a specific reason for this. The Affordable Connectivity Program, the ACP, is completely dead. The guaranteed nationwide free tablet program ended with the ACP. Today, connectivity help is split into dozens of highly localized programs. Predatory websites take advantage of this confusion, using outdated ACP promises to advertise fake instant approvals. Finding real assistance today requires targeted effort. You cannot simply fill out a single generic online form and expect a device to show up at your door. Continuing to search for a nationwide tablet giveaway is a waste of your time. Worse, handing your details over to those generic forms is a direct pathway to identity theft. To navigate this safely, you have to bypass generic Google searches entirely. The goal is to match your exact demographic and situation to specific, targeted programs. In 2026, there are 4 distinct pathways. Your route depends entirely on eligibility, specifically for veterans, HUD-assisted housing residents, or those using EBT or Medicaid. The outputs vary widely, from specialized healthcare devices to basic monthly internet discounts. Getting connected in 2026 comes down to understanding that there is no one-size-fits-all application. Success depends entirely on knowing exactly which door to knock on. We start with closed-loop institutional programs. These are the safest and most effective routes because they completely bypass the chaotic commercial telecom market. Pathway 1 is the VA route, specifically through a process called the Digital Divide Consult. If you are an enrolled veteran, you should stop searching online. Your next step is to contact your VA care team directly and ask them to set up a Digital Divide Consult. If the VA issues you a connected device, understand that it is loaned to you strictly for telehealth appointments and managing your healthcare. It is not meant for general family entertainment. Pathway 2 applies if you live in HUD-assisted housing or rely on local digital inclusion grants. Your action step here is to speak directly to your property manager or your community center director. Ask them if your specific building or city has access to local digital equity grants. This route is heavily limited by geography. If your specific city or housing authority does not actively fund these programs, this pathway simply does not exist for you. But if you do have an institutional tie to the VA or HUD, use it. Leveraging these internal networks shields you from commercial data harvesting while offering your highest chance of receiving real hardware support. Now we look at the general public. This is for those relying on EBT, Medicaid, or SSI who do not have ties to the VA or HUD. Pathway 3 is the Lifeline program. We need to be clear. Lifeline is strictly a monthly service discount program that lowers your bill by $9.25. It is not a tablet program. To use this route, your mandatory first step is applying through the official government National Verifier website. You must do this before shopping for any telecom provider. Once approved, you might see providers offering a tablet. These are purely promotional. They depend entirely on the provider's current inventory and whether they serve your specific zip code. There is also a strict one benefit per household rule, meaning a large family cannot claim multiple discounts. For the general public, the only guaranteed victory through Lifeline is permanently lowering your monthly internet bill. If you manage to get a tablet through a provider, treat it as a localized lucky bonus. This brings us to the danger of the open public search market. Searching for government benefits online is heavily targeted by a predatory trap. Pathway 4 is the scam trap. You will recognize it by loud promises of instant free Gov tablets or guarantees that require zero effort on your part. These websites are not processing applications. They are designed entirely to harvest your social security number, your benefits info, and your personal data. Falling for this trap leads to a grim outcome: endless spam calls, compromised privacy, and absolutely no technology delivered to your home. In 2026, any website that demands your most sensitive data in exchange for a completely effortless guaranteed device is a trap. Let's evaluate these 4 pathways by looking at the return on investment for your time and your privacy. This chart shows exactly why you should use institutional programs if you qualify. The VA consult requires very little effort from you and has a high probability of a device. The HUD route requires more legwork to track down grants, but still offers a high probability. The Lifeline public route involves high effort through the National Verifier, and while it secures a bill discount, it carries a very low probability of actually getting a device. Finally, the scam trap offers the absolute worst return on investment, leading to total data loss. The highest return on your time doesn't come from applying everywhere. It comes from figuring out which quadrant matches your demographic before you ever start filling out online forms. Here are your exact next steps. Veterans, stop searching Google. Pick up the phone and call your VA care team today. If you live in HUD-assisted housing, bypass the internet entirely. Go ask your property manager about local digital inclusion grants active in your building. If you rely on EBT or Medicaid and need bill help, navigate directly to the official Lifeline National Verifier website. Set your expectations strictly on receiving the $9.25 discount. And finally, if you land on a web page promising an instant, free ACP tablet just for entering your social security number, close that tab immediately. Because in 2026, protecting your personal identity from predatory scams is just as vital as securing your internet connection.